So Google I/O happened recently, and I want to talk about it. Seriously though, how many AI announcements were there? It was a bit much. Y'all know me, I'm a sucker for new UI tools and techniques, so you know your boy was watching all the new material design presentations. And the What's New presentation was honestly the most captivating one. They showcased some gorgeous looking concept apps, talked about some upcoming design changes for Material U, and created some components that we can use. Kinda. I quickly want to go over what I thought were the best announcements from the presentation, starting with the new Material 3 carousel component. This new component is the embodiment of some new Material 3 motion and transformation principles, and I gotta say, the mockup looks really fluid. This component is already released for Android, which I was super stoked about until I realized it was only released for the legacy Vue system and not Compose UI. That's honestly kind of a bummer, but I really wanted to try this component out, so I sucked it up, tried to remember how to write views and XML again, and I built a little sample to play around with it. So here's the sample that I built with a bunch of images that I got off of Pinterest, and surprisingly, it works really well. I'm always skeptical about how well they'll translate the mocks to the actual design components, and the material design folks did a really great job here. So if you're one of the unlucky few who still has to use the old Android Vue system to build apps, you should really give this one a shot. Now, one really interesting thing that I want to call out is that this component was starting to make waves in domains outside of Android. I saw someone on Twitter rebuild it for Swift UI, and it got a lot of positive feedback. This is a pretty good sign for the future of material design, which has often unfortunately been the butt of many design system jokes. I'm really looking forward to seeing Material 3 and Material U continue to shake things up. The other exciting development I wanted to talk about was this idea of extending Material U to allow for content-aware theming. Now what this means is that we will potentially have access to the Material U theming engine to generate color palettes. So it won't just be the system driving our themes based on our current wallpaper, although there's no first-party API just yet. For me, this is really exciting because I really like the Material U color palettes, and I've always had this idea of building a theme previewer to allow me to quickly test out new themes for my apps. Filled with inspiration instilled by the material design presentation, I wanted to build a little prototype of this theme previewer, and I want to show y'all what I built. Just playing the new Zelda game as a quick break. Oh, you wanted to see that now. So here's what I built. Let me quickly walk you through it. At the top, we have an image that drives the colors that we're going to use in the theme. We're using the palette API to extract some colors that you can see here, and we can select which color we want to be the primary color for the theme. Right underneath that is the actual HCT color palette that's actually being used as the color palette for the theme. And then underneath that are some basic UI components. I just chose a couple of buttons and a slider just to demonstrate how the theme actually affects the components in the app. You can also cycle through images to get some different color palettes and see how they look. And of course, if we apply dark theme, we can see how the dark theme colors look as well. Also, just for fun, I built this split mode just so that you can see the light and dark themes at the same time. It's not super practical, but I like it. Now, I did mention that there isn't any official APIs for theme generation. For that, I used an open source library called MonetCompat, which I will link in the description in case you're curious. And that's basically it. I just wanted to share the things that I found compelling from this year's Google I/O. And as always, I'm just excited about all the new ways to create beautiful Android experiences. All right, back to grinding shaders. Peace.